Hello everyone, this is Pub Battles Marengo. Now today I'm playing where I don't pay for terrain costs. Now you still pay for facing changes, formation changes, and things like that, and terrain of course affects combat, but you don't deduct a third for moving through terrain. This is a change we've been experimenting with, and so far I really like it. It's not official at this point. Also recently, for video purposes, I've been playing with the labels facing up when the unit is fresh so that you can kind of see what the units are, and then turning them down when spent. What I found, and this is important for a solo gaming channel, is that playing solo it works really well because I don't need to hide the unit from my opponent, and it's just easier to see where everything is. It just makes for a smoother experience when playing. So again, labels up is fresh, labels turned down is spent. More than enough jibber jabber, let's get into it. We'll start with the Austrian breakout move. Napoleon's still tucked in and sleeping. Turn 0, the Austrians break out. First we have Ott's command, then we have O'Reilly, then we'll have Melis's cavalry come racing out, and this will be followed by the main Austrian van. Now the other thing I like to do at Marengo, where Melis's Austrian army has not adopted Napoleon's new corps organization. They're still on the Ancien regime, old school organization, and so I just give them one baggage train. Because if you give a baggage train to the other commands, Ott and O'Reilly, that allows them to run off like independent units, like the French corps can do. But that's not really how the Austrians operated. So they can run off, but they won't have the support of a baggage train. All the bags are in the center. Early morning, turn 1, Melis is drawn first, and he opens with a cavalry charge into the French line. Next we check where the grenadiers can reach, and they're going to support the charge. And that's Melis's move. Next drawn is Victor, and Victor has successfully delayed the cavalry and fallen back. Next is Launay. Launay closes the flank and threatens the Austrian right. And here we see Ott is moving forward, following the cavalry advance. Next are Bonaparte and Murat. They both move forward cautiously, not certain where they'll be needed. And finally we have O'Reilly with his light troops attacking the French left. And at the cost of a single detachment, the Austrian light troops are driven back. Turn 2 opens with O'Reilly holding his position and licking his wounds. But on the Austrian left, Ott breaks out, and he turns his artillery to fire on the French rear. And Melis troops continue pressing forward, and his artillery positions itself to settle the issue on their right. Launay's corps takes cover in Marengo and charges the Austrian line before they can set up their artillery. Seeing the breakout, Murat charges across the battlefield, while the Emperor counters the artillery with his own artillery. And now we move to mid-morning combat. Early morning we see Launay attacking the spent light troops. And although the French assault is driven back, the Austrian light troops are lost. The Austrian charge in the center. Victor's troops are forced to give ground. And now it's late morning. Launay's infantry charges the Austrian artillery, while on the other flank, Murat's cavalry charge the Austrian infantry. Kellerman uses the charge rule. But those heroics end in disaster. And Melis sends the rest of his troops forward, and he deploys bags to guarantee this drive is successful. Victor's troops fall back, and Murat's hussars under Revaux come back to the battle just in time. Can they stabilize the French right? Late morning combat, the charge on the Austrian artillery. With grievous casualties, the Austrian lines are broken up, but not eliminated. And cavalry action on the French right. More French cavalry is lost. It's midday. Murat joins what's left of his cavalry force and brings them back by Napoleon. Melis lunges forward. Napoleon opens up on the Austrian artillery, silencing it and driving it back. And the guard charges the grenadiers. With lots of his troops, Launay tries one more drive. And on the Austrian left, Ott charges his men forward. It's midday combat, and Laon pushes forward into the Austrian artillery. The Austrian artillery is lost, and here Melis's men have surrounded the French. They surrender en masse. Melas charges Victor's troops. Victor's troops stop them in their tracks as they fall back. The Austrian drive in the center. The French are sent reeling back. Napoleon's guard flanking the grenadiers. But with Ott's help, the French are driven back. In the last battle on the French right, Ott's infantry charge the French artillery. The French artillery is wiped out. And now it's mid-afternoon. The French are perilously close to breaking. One more block eliminated and the Austrians have won. But this is turn 5 and Desaix shows up. As the French fall back, Melas' army begins spreading out, and he can't command them all. His success will be his undoing. Melas sends his main line forward. Napoleon pulls his bags back to safety and oversees the valiant defense. Victor gives ground. Lannes gives ground. And Desaix arrives, comes out of column, and he's ready to save the day. We'll start with a cavalry action on the French right. This time it's Murat's cavalry that is victorious. And Napoleon's guard facing the Austrians. The guards hold off the Austrians and fall back. It seems the Austrian push has run out of gas. And now it's late afternoon. Melas gives it one final drive. He's bringing his grenadiers forward. Keim is driven into Desaix's arriving troops, while the rest of his command covers the flank. And again, Victor falls back. And Desaix, with fresh resolve, drives forward. And Ott supports Melas' drive on the French center. And now we have late afternoon combat. On the French right, cavalry simply falls back, and Napoleon's guard facing the Austrian drive. The guard holds them up and falls back. And Desaix's drive in the center. The Austrians fall back under the fresh assault. And to their left, the rest of Desaix's corps charges. And although the Austrians are driven back, the French suffer more losses. Again, they're close to breaking. Although battered and spread out, the Austrian army is still in shape. It's early evening. Murat's cavalry supports the guard. Desaix drives forward. They're going to break this Austrian army. Ott continues his drive on the consular guard. Melas continues pushing forward. He holds against Desaix's assault, advances on the left and on the right. And he has Keim send in a demi-brigade to flank Desaix. And Victor moves to save Desaix. Okay, we've got two battles here. We've got Melas' drive on the French army here, and we've got Desaix's drive here in the center. And it's a swirling mass of troops. First we'll handle Desaix. And with that combat resolved in the center, Desaix has lost a block. The French army breaks. Well, that was fun. The French suffered a few too many losses. Obviously, they broke. And you know what? They should break. It was amazing that they won at Marengo. There's a reason that's a big deal. But this battle was still close and was not certain until the end. My friends, that was a very good game. As always, if you found this entertaining, please give it a like, subscribe if you want more.